Hey everybody, welcome to the One More podcast. It's been a few weeks actually, I think, since we've been on your radio or wherever you're listening to us, your earbuds. We took a little bit of time off after the series, but we wanna keep this rolling. So yeah, this is just an opportunity for Peter and I, who Peter, thank you for being here. Peter's
Yeah,
is on
glad to
is
be
here.
here.
To just share with you some thoughts, ideas about what it means to live a life on mission, to live a one more life. So if there's somebody around you that God's calling you to be just a beacon of light in a dark world. And I think that, as we talk about that, if you remember, maybe you're just joining us now, but we talked about empty chairs around us, around tables, and just being in opportunities at that, during those times to just really be a gospel witness, even just through your life. It doesn't even necessarily need to, in every time, be about the message you're proclaiming, but you do represent the Lord all the time. And so, what does that look like? And we thought, as we think about this season in December, Christmas time, man, some great ways in which we can, I think, have meaningful conversations around the content that people are hearing all the time. Like Peter, as you go into, if you're like me, I just love to hear, as you go into like stores or something like that,
Mhm.
um, are you hearing songs that are like, hey, that's that's not just all I want for Christmas is you. Like there's some other stuff here.
Yeah, no, um it's a helpful part of the season that I feel, as much as Christmas has become commercialized and and used to just kind of pitch products and stuff like that. Um Attached to it is always like that historical piece of like worship Christmas music. So yeah, it always catches me a little off guard when I'm in a store sometimes, and you just start hearing like "Hark the Herald Angels Sing," "Glory to the Newborn King." You're just like, oh wait, like that. There's some gospel being like
Yeah.
said around here right now.
Yeah, that's a worship song. What's going on? I mean, we have so many of those. Joy to the world. Even some songs that we maybe don't. Oh, I know we do associate, but maybe not associate with worship, like "Oh, Little Town of Bethlehem." Like, just
Yeah,
read some of the lines in there about the stillness of the world and the light that broke into dark places. And I mean, you just realize there's gospel here.
yeah,
Um, and so it is intermingled, obviously, with the Starbucks chocolate peppermint mochas.
yeah,
Um, and All I Want for Christmas Is You, also a really, really good song. But I think that the question for us, maybe as we think about this idea of one more, what does it mean for us? Is what are some ways in which we can really be thinking this December, 2024, how to live a life of mission, how to live a life where we are thinking about our neighbors, we are thinking about one more person. And if you're with us and you've been with us for a while, like we've asked you to take a one more card. You can do this if you don't go to Anchor, maybe you're just listening to this, just take a note card and write the name of somebody that you feel like the Lord's put on your heart to pray for. And so that's always going to be there. We should always be praying for the people that God's going to, we feel like maybe God wants us to share the gospel with. But what are some other ways to do this? And we kind of came up with three. I think Peter and I have three things that you could be thinking through this year. And the first one, I'll say it, Peter, and I'll let you talk about it a little bit. But
yep,
um, the first one would be the most basic, I think, which is to participate actively in the 100 Tables Initiative in December with Christmas, and why that. Maybe just talk about that a little bit, and why December is maybe even easier to participate in that than maybe even other parts of the year.
yeah. It's always as you get past Thanksgiving, you start ramping towards like the end of the year. There always starts being these like events or opportunities for, whether it's around sporting events or around watching parades or company Christmas parties or neighborhood parties or things like that. There's usually gatherings that are kind of always happening. And there's also people that are kind of more open. Like it's just a season where people are a little bit more open to spending time with you, hanging out. Um, you know, People's work schedules get a little bit more like unpredictable, so people become available at different times. And it just opens the door for invitations, just invitations to, hey, like let's get dinner. Hey, let's get our families together. Hey, um, come to my, church's Christmas party, or you get invited to somebody else's Christmas party, and like you should be open to that. You should be looking for those opportunities where it's like, oh, this isn't like all year long kind of a thing. This is
Yeah.
unique to the season. And so it's usually those gatherings, which I think really connect to the, one table initiative, where it's like, yeah, like you're gonna get some opportunities to just sit with people and just have conversations and have more deeper relationships with people. And maybe they get to gospel conversations, but at the very least, you are building trust, you're building um, you know, they're seeing somebody who's like, hey, like I love Jesus and I'm doing life. Like here we are.
Yeah. I think that the praying for people and then that one table idea, which again, if you don't remember or if you're new to the podcast, just what does it look like to just invite someone around a table, good food, good drink. That could be a Diet Coke or a beer, I don't know, or wine, whatever it is, good to you is fine. But no catch. It's not like, hey, can't wait to start a prayer meeting at this thing. It's like, no, we just want to be around people that don't know Jesus, to let them see your life, pray for them, let them see your life. Those are easy calls. And like you said, all we're asking you to do is simple, is just to go caroling with your neighbors. um just sing as loud as you possibly can with your neighbors. That's never awkward. Which isn't true. We're not asking you that. If you want to do that, great. But it could just be like, hey, come over for some. Yeah, we're watching football. Hey, we're gonna go walk around the neighborhood and look at Christmas lights. You want to join us? Things that are so easy to do. I think is just the baseline thing that we should be thinking through. So, and then don't forget, email us. Even if you don't go to Anchor,
Yes.
email us one table. It's all spelled out. One table at anchorchurchgilbert.com. And do me a favor. And maybe if you've even sent us some of these, maybe I know that we have a lot. I think we're over a quarter of the way there. We want to get to 100 by May. Even if you've already sent some in, would you do me a favor and email us again and just give us a story from that time? Would you just tell us? I'd like to share some stories on Sunday mornings about what God's doing through the 100 Table Initiative. So if you could do me a favor as you write them in, but then also if you've already written, told us that you had one, give us some stories. Email them, one table at anchorchurchgilbert.com, so that we can share some stories with people.
Yeah,
Um,
it's I'll just chime in on that quick. I think that's helpful for cultivating a heart for evangelism, like a heart for sharing the gospel, is also just celebrating stories, like celebrating like the faithfulness of God. And sometimes it's not like that someone's life gets radically transformed immediately through one conversation. It's, oh, like these people want to be around me and want to um, hear about my life and hear about the things that I put a lot of hope in and time into, which is my faith. And man, you don't know what the Holy Spirit can do with that. And so I think we need to celebrate.
yeah, yeah, I agree. And I think the more we do that too, if you're like me, the more you hear, oh, this person had somebody over to their house and wound up, at the end of the day, they hung out for 4 hours. Maybe that's not you, but they hung out for 4 hours because the conversation was so great, and it did turn into belief and faith, and it was wonderful. And like, you never know what you hear from that. So write those into us. I think that's going to be helpful. A second step for that, maybe one deeper, um, would be maybe just as basic as making sure that as you're thinking about things like we just talked about, Christmas songs, it is a season where we do celebrate Jesus. We do celebrate the incarnation, and I think it doesn't matter where you live in America, you're aware of something about that. Nativities that are there. Again, the songs we sing, "Joy to the world, the Lord has come." Even secular artists are singing that song, and so people know it. So man, what an opportunity to share the gospel. This is where I would, and Peter, I'd love to hear you talk about this too. But I would say, we talked early on about the fact that when we talk about Jesus at any time, there's element of faith that comes into that, because there is something in us that's like we don't want to encroach upon people, we don't want to force ourselves on others, we don't want to make it awkward. um, but I think everybody's kind of eager at some point to talk about what things they believe in. We can think that people don't, but I think everybody does. Everybody wants to go, oh yeah, I've heard that, or no, I haven't heard that. We can make it super awkward super fast. I don't think we have to. I think it can be as easy as just like, oh man, I love this song. We sing this at church. Every time it hits this line, every time I hear, and hark the herald angels sing, mild he lay his glory by, born that man no more may die. It just hits me like in a different way. And all of a sudden you have a conversation about that part of the gospel, you know? And so I just wonder if that would be something helpful. Any thoughts on that, Peter?
Yeah, I think finding ways to kind of almost contextualize the season where you are seeing something, whether it's a Christmas song or heck, even a Christmas movie, and kind of taking a chance to kind of unpack that with somebody a little bit more, like some of the themes, some of the big ideas. I think even taking something as simple as presents, like taking the idea of giving someone a present and having a maybe just a one step deeper conversation with somebody about like, hey, like what's like the best gift you've ever been, ever received? Um, or even the question like, what's the best gift you've ever given somebody? So even just that process of starting to connect some dots for people of, man, like, well, the best gift in my life is like Jesus dying for me. So like this little baby Jesus went on to become big Jesus who lived the life I couldn't live, died the death I deserved to die. And now I get to have a relationship with him for eternity because he offered that gift to me, like love is a gift.
Mm,
Um, so like just finding ways to look at the culture, look at the moment, and then taking that step of faith, I think to invite someone into some of that thinking, whether it's with a question or telling a little bit of your story. But I think it's all around you in Christmas.
yeah. Yeah, that's good. I think that just as again, I'll say it again, I said it a second ago, there is a step of faith involved anytime we do something like that. And so there's some of you that aren't going to feel that as much, and there's some of us that do. I do. I mean, I've just like, but I think that sharing what we believe is something that I mean, I'd be curious about other people believe too. What do you believe about this? Do you guys go to church at Christmas time? Like what's because I think that people would like to share their life. Um, and I think if we're better listeners sometimes and even talkers, it creates opportunity. So be thinking about that as well. Which leads me to the last one, which is just, yeah, invite people to our Christmas Eve service. The gospel will be shared there. Um,
Yeah.
so, that's going to be it's the eve of Christmas Eve. So don't invite him to Christmas Eve. We're not going to be there. 6 o'clock on the 23rd. So that'll free up your Christmas Eve to be with family. Sometime I know there's a lot of people that go to maybe their in-laws or, someone else's home or something like that. Or your parents if you have a family. So, we do it on the 23rd at 6 o'clock. Come worship with us. It's going to be some old hymns, some newer songs. We're going to share the gospel story and yeah, it'll just be an opportunity for people to hear. And so, come sing songs and invite your neighbors
Yeah.
to that. There's so much, Peter, if you're like me, like there's so much in this season of life that it can get real busy.
Yep.
Um, and we have to make intentional time for uh, gospel opportunities and just keep our eyes open for what God might be doing.
Yeah,
Is,
absolutely.
is that really any different from all of life? I mean, from any other month, really? Like at the end of the
Yeah.
day?
No, absolutely. It's the same mission. It's the same thing we've been talking about for months of, yeah, what does it look like um to live a life where you are just thinking through one more, like who's one more person that can be at this table, one more person that could be at this party, one more person that I could be praying for. And I think like the Christmas Eve service is man, like is an incredible picture for that. Yeah, I want to encourage and challenge everybody that's listening to this, like start inviting people now. Like get people like in their head, into their calendar early. Because like you said, like sometimes families will kind of put together like, hey, we're all going to go here or we're all going to do this. Maybe you can take a step of faith and start kind of spearheading. Hey, like let's all go here to anchor on Christmas Eve on a Monday night, 6 o'clock, and celebrate the birth of Jesus together. And you know what? Invite some coworkers, invite some neighbors, invite people from your kids' sports teams. Um, Wherever there's people, like this is a season where people are looking and they know like going to church is an option on this day. So why not let Anchor be that option?
Yeah. Yeah, let people come in. We want to try and continue to invite people to come. One of the things I'm excited about in 2025, and we'll talk more about this as we go, but I just think there's going to be opportunities to invite, a lot of
Yep.
opportunities to invite, a lot of opportunities to see people come in. I'm praying for it. And would you join with us too, maybe even as you're thinking about the end of December, but maybe just be praying um, that 2025 would be a year of many baptisms. Like maybe
Yeah.
people that you're sharing the gospel with now would find themselves knowing Jesus in 2025, and we can celebrate, who knows what God might do through you and
Yeah.
your invitations. Just as we're thinking faithfulness. So, everybody, I hope you enjoy the Christmas season. Peter, you too. I know we'll see everybody on Sunday, but I hope everybody's enjoying this Christmas season. Watch good movies, eat some good cookies. I hear that the cookies at Christmas time don't have any calories, so
It's true.
you don't need to worry about that apparently, or the hot chocolate and all the whipped cream you put on top of it with marshmallows.
That's
No
right.
calories in any of that stuff. And that we all can enjoy that at the same time. Remember that we're here because Jesus was born. So
Amen.
may people see that through your life, everybody. We'll see you on Sunday. Thanks for listening to this podcast, Peter. Thanks for being with us, man.
All right. Have a good time.
All right, bye.